Good morning, boys and girls. This is Miss Bomar, and I'm back with you again today for another reading lesson. And today I thought we would do a Readworks passage because this is something that you are really familiar with because we do a lot of them while we were in school, and we've been doing some of them while you have been out of school. So I picked this one because it is about springtime, and that is what we have been talking a lot about in science with Miss Smith. And it's just been so pretty outside, and everything's been blooming. And I just wanted to pick an article that kind of related to what we're seeing outside right now. So later today, I will send you a picture of where I live outside, right outside my porch. There's a big pond um, that these birds that we're going to be reading about are always visiting and swimming in this time of year. So I don't see them outside today, but usually when I'm trying to sleep at night, I start hearing them. So maybe I can try to grab a picture of them one day and show you a picture of them. So we're going to be learning about these types of birds. And the title of our article is Wild Calls in the Springtime Sky. Okay, so if I read this title and I look at this text feature, this picture right here, I start thinking about what I'm going to be reading about. And what it looks like I'm going to be reading about is these types of birds. And I'm not going to say the name yet because we're about to read about them, but maybe some of you have seen these type of birds before, or you've heard them outside recently. And the title says Springtime Sky. So that makes me realize that usually we hear and see these types of birds during springtime. Okay. Imagine you are somewhere in the United States. It's an evening in spring. The air is still chilly. You watch a big red sun setting on the horizon. A honk, a honk, a honk. The wide sky seems to be calling you. There are dark specks in it far away. The sound grows louder. The specks grow larger. They are wild creatures, birds, long necks outstretched, wings beating steadily up and down. One bird is in the lead, and the others strung out behind the shape of a large V. Okay, so if you've ever seen these types of birds flying up in the sky, they're usually flying in a pattern that looks like a giant V. Canadian geese are on their way north. These birds fly through almost every state on the spring trip to their nesting places. Keep watch, and you are sure to see them. These family of Canada geese have lived together in the South during winter. One day in late winter, an adult male tosses his head up and down. There's a lot of gabbling and talking among the restless geese. Then they all rise into the air. An older bird sets the course, but they change leaders often. The geese move slowly at first, high over cities, highways, rivers, and forests that spread out below them like a map. They push farther and farther north as the earth warms, melting ice on ponds and lakes. The geese fly day and night, landing briefly to rest or feed. As they come close to their summer homes, they increase their speed. Some flocks stop in the northern United States, others fly far into Canada. The leader knows when they have arrived. The geese glide down, gabbling and honking at the site of the marsh where they have built their nests in the previous years. Okay, if we think about this word marsh, what do you think that vocabulary word marsh is? Usually it's a kind of how I talked about how I have geese outside in my pond area. Usually it is a swamp area or a pond area with lots of grass and kind of bushy type areas around it. So that's where they stop and rest on their way while they are heading north. When migrating geese pass over us in spring, they remind us that we share planet Earth with wild creatures of many kinds, wild creatures on the move. Okay, so we read about these geese who are going north, and usually we just see them on their way. So usually when we see them, they are just stopping and resting and just taking a little break before they start flying again, heading farther north away from us. So I have lots of geese that have been stopping and resting at the pond outside of my house here recently, and usually I hear them honking and they're being really loud at nighttime, but I haven't seen them in a couple of days, so they might have already left this rest area and went farther on their journey. So what I want you to do is I am going to be posting the quiz that goes along with this passage in my post today. So just like last week, I want you to first listen to me read the passage. Then I want you to click on the video again, but turn the volume all the way down and read it on your own. And then last, I want you to take the quiz. So go ahead and take out a scratch piece of paper. And I want you to number it 1 through 5. You're going to have 5 quiz questions. And I want you to take that quiz. And then tomorrow, I will be posting a video with the answers and going over the questions. Okay? And what I also want you to do is I want you to go outside and I want you to look and see if you see any geese. Maybe some of you live near a body of water where they might stop and rest, or see if you hear any geese, or you might see them flying in their V pattern up in the sky. So I want you to go outside and see if you can see or hear any geese, and in the comments, tell me if you did see any of them and what they looked like and where you saw them. And then after that, I want you to make sure you take the quiz and then keep your answers handy for tomorrow, and we will go over your questions for tomorrow. Okay, if you have any questions about any of the vocabulary, I want you to put that in the comments also. So in the comments, you can put, Miss Bomar, I'm not exactly sure what migrating means. What does that vocabulary word mean? And so we can talk about it, and we can use our context clues in our story to try to figure out what that word means. Okay? I hope you guys have a great rest of your afternoon. And if you have any questions, just make sure to put a comment and let me know.